Hey folks, Dave here. I am going to today do a breakdown on the Perfect power nozzle. Some of you have requested and had trouble getting this opened up. I do not have a camera person, so I'm working off of a tripod. So I'm going to change the camera so it can look at the nozzle, and you'll just have to listen to me, which is much better than looking at me. One sec. Alright, so this is the Perfect power nozzle from Nationwide. I think it's a big upgrade on those Turbo Cats. First thing you have to do that many of you are probably having issues with, you can't take it apart until you take this cord out. So give that a tug. It is pretty firm in there. You may have to give it a good tug. Just make sure you're pulling straight out along this plane, not along the cord, because it does have an angle on it. Once that's out, it will come apart much easier. Push the intake nozzle down, flip it over. You'll need a driver with a Phillips number 2 bit on it. 5 screws on the bottom. Once you have all of those loosened, you want to flip it back over, and it comes off from the back up. Again, you can push that flat, give it a tug, and pull a little bit towards the back, and it'll pop up. There's 2 wires underneath connecting to the switch. For ease of access, I'm going to take off the shortest one here. There's a little fingernail clip that allows these to disengage. It's kind of a pain in the butt. And I'll leave the long one attached so I know where it goes, but that gives me enough space to move it. It's now open where you can see everything. Motor brush roller. You can dig your fingers in here to get out anything. You can also pop these 2 screws off here. That will open this right up if you have something stuck or jammed. And then that whole thing, just give it a gentle wiggle, it'll come out. And you can now clean right inside of that. Clean in here. Stone I'm going to pull out. Motors here. This is a reset switch. You really shouldn't have to do anything with those. The motor blows, it's probably 75 bucks, and the whole thing is only 90. So you're almost just as good by the time shipping happens to just replace the whole head if the motor goes. When you're putting this back in, just get it in place, and again, give it a wiggle until it seats right down. Anytime that you're using screws and plastic, I use a little bit of caulking, just regular bathroom caulking. Helps them stick a little bit, because these have a lot of vibration when they go. So I'm just going to put a dab of caulking in both holes. Put my screws back in. Anytime that you're using power tools with plastic, make sure you have your torque setting really low. Mine's set at a 4, so I know I'm not going to strip the screws out. Only other thing that you may want to do on a regular basis or a semi-regular basis is replacing the belt. There's 2 screws over here. That little cap comes off, and then you can just lift the one end, leave the other end attached, and replace the belt. Putting it back, that cap goes on. Again, I'm going to use just a little dab of caulking, less than I used on the last one. It's warm, so the caulking is flowing. Do not use glue. You want to use caulking because caulking stays kind of soft. It'll help keep it in, but it's not going to wreck. That's about it. That's all that you can do on this one. When you are putting it back together, you want to make sure that this rubber is seated properly. I did it before I started taping this video. It's a little bit tricky. You want to make sure that the front has to go on from the bottom up. There's little notches you can see on the back here. Those all have to slide in from the bottom up. Once you get the front on, then you can put the sides on. The sides are top down. So you got to put it on in two parts. Put the front on and then squeeze each part going back. Make sure that it's seated properly. When you're putting it back together, don't forget to plug back in your switch. The front will hook in. And then just push down, watch for this little reset switch that it seats properly. Flip it over and put your screws back in. That's it. Don't forget to put your cord back in, seat it all the way. That is how to disassemble the new Perfect Powerhead. Thanks everybody. Email or ask in the comments if you got any questions.